All right. Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. Today is June 28th, 2025. And you're tuned to another exciting sports show right here. We do this every Saturday between the hours of 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. And I am your host, Kathya Davis. And I'm so excited, of course, to be here to talk about the happenings and the not happen and the non-happenings, of course, we're gonna be talking about the Jamaica National Junior and Senior Trials that's currently on at the National Stadium. Been on since Thursday and it goes up to tomorrow. But of course, the big bad night, the big bad night happened last night. And did we really have a changing of the guard or what exactly happened? You want to stay tuned for that. That's going to come up pretty soon. So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to be talking about the Gold Cup and the Reggae Boys and Steve McLaren and what exactly is going to happen. Also, we're going to look at another failing squad. I don't want to say squad, another failing team. You don't really talk about them much, but I'm going to give them a little talk. Give them a little talk about today. I'm going to talk about them a little today. That's the West Indies. Yeah, man. If you know that the West Indies is currently taking on Australia in their tour of the Caribbean, or we home tour, and we home, but we haven't started good on the we home tour at all. So we're gonna talk about those performances. And of course, if you were here last week, you would have heard me mention that the NBA finals would have been concluded on Caroline. Not even give me a chance, Caroline. NBA the NBA concluded on Sunday, and the Oklahoma City Thunder are the NBA champions. Was it a real championship, or because Halliburton got injured, then they won by default? I don't want Caroline come with me, So, let me just behave myself. But yes, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the NBA champions. And of course, the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander named the MVP of the finals. So he's MVP, season MVP, MVP of the Western Conference Finals, and now MVP of the NBA Finals. So yeah. Well, and of course the Reggae Girls, they will be taking on England. So we're gonna talk about the squad announcement for the Reggae Girls, as well as we might hear a few thoughts from Coach Busby as they had the press conference this morning. So we're probably gonna take that closer to the end of the show. But let's just kick things off. I know you guys excited or wanting to hear my thoughts on the track and field, but I'm gonna leave the track and field for a little bit, right? I'm gonna leave the track and field for a little bit. We're gonna go first into some football. We're gonna do that at 1:15, and then we're gonna do it for the rest of the show. So we, stay with us as I try to, get everyone's thoughts on what's happening. But let's start. Let's really start with what's going on. Actually, let's go back. So as I was saying, the NBA champions would have been the Oklahoma City Thunder. I want to say congratulations. I know that's Caroline's team and she speaks. Hey man, say, Caroline, filling up my WhatsApp line. If you'd like to also share your thoughts on the show, 876-997-3125. That's how you get to us via WhatsApp, or you can join us on Facebook and or on YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. All right. So as I said, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are the NBA champions. They would have won it 103-91 on Sunday night against the Indiana Pacers, winning that series 4-3. This is, I believe, not the first championship for the Oklahoma Thunder, first in the history of this um right team. Caroline is correcting me. She said Oklahoma City Thunder is her son's team. And her team is the Warriors. Okay, all right, Caroline, not so bad. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. All right, so let's just even go to the just some highlights. SGA, he ended top scoring other night with 29 points. And of course, we knew that Halliburton, he got injured very, very early in the game, very early in the first quarter of the game, and was not able to return, of course. And so that meant that the Indiana Pacers was without their stars, or without their star player. And of course, when we got down to the business end of the game, because Indiana kept it close, I'm not gonna lie, Indiana really kept it closer than I thought it was going to be. But when it got to the fourth quarter, where a player like Halliburton was really needed to lift the team, or a dependable scorer, because that's what I consider Halliburton as, a dependable, somebody you can depend on to keep the score ticking. With him missing, the Indiana just ran out of options, right? And you don't necessarily want that in a team. But unfortunately for Indiana, that happened. And of course, many person would say, why would Halliburton play? And he knew that he was injured. Yeah, this happens. This is their life. This is their livelihood. And the truth is that he knew taking the court in game 7 was going to be a risk. And I'm sure he would have weighed the pros and the cons and just decided that, hey, I am going to do this anyways. So, I mean, the fact that he got injured pretty early, it just really meant, it was gonna come. Whether it was gonna come in the first half, second half, or at the end of the game, it was going to come. Because an injury like that just does not just go away. Like, it doesn't, go away. It's something that, once you start putting pressure on your body again, it will happen. All right, so that's that for that. And we skip quickly. I'm only giving them a few minutes of the show. West Indies versus Australia. The Frank Worrell Trophy series began in Barbados, and yeah, it's not off to a winning start for the Windies at all, at all, at all. Uh, they were beaten by 159 runs by Australia. And people will be like, yeah, but Australia is a good team and all of that. Yeah, man, Australia is a very good cricketing squad. We know that. But the performance from the West Indies is very especially the batting. I mean, I the way how John Campbell in the second innings got out yesterday, ridiculous. I don't understand. You have 2 days to make 300 runs and you just, I don't know, like, there's no concentration. And then, of course, Brandon King, I don't know, you come in the first ball you face, I'm like, yeah, unacceptable. But what was also unacceptable in this series is those 4 questionable calls by the third umpire. And of all those calls went against the West Indies. And I've never seen, in my little time watching cricket, I've never seen umpiring so bad in terms of a third umpire. Never, never. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I'm not going to say it's never happened, but I've never seen it. And I watch a lot of cricket and I've never seen it. You ask for, especially with one of the players, right? He asked for the ball tracking because it was an appeal for LBW. He asked for the ball tracking, which for those of you who don't watch cricket, when an umpire asks for ball tracking as it relates to leg before wicket, which is a LBW, it is the imagery that they put on the screen to indicate whether or not the ball was gonna hit the stumps, as in the trajectory. It's a computer based trajectory that they use to say, okay, based on where the ball hit the player on the foot, it can either go left, off stump, type of thing, where the ball was gonna hit. After asking for that, then he goes to Ultra Edge. I don't understand, because he went to Ultra Edge first, and then he asked for the ball tracking, and then he came back to Ultra Edge. And then he said, "Oh, the ball hit on the bat before it hit the well." Yeah, and I'm like, "Sir, it is obvious that when the ball was going, it clearly hit the pad first, and then in the case of Ruston Chase, it was where the ball clearly hit the bat first before it hit on Ruston Chase's leg." And he's like, "No, it hit on the pad first." And Ruston Chase was given out LBW. The if you watch the video, right, or if you were watching the game, you see the ball, a clear diversion of the ball. Like, the ball cannot divert like that, like move like that, unless it hits onto something. And when it was passing the bat, there is a because of course Ultra Edge is used to show whether or not the ball comes in contact with the bat. And you saw the Ultra Edge spike and the ball like moving away. So what could have really caused that? Anyways, so I mean, the performance of the West Indies was bad. The performance of the third umpire was even worse. I mean, boy, I don't know. And then the four calls going against the West Indies, I don't know if that's why our batsmen went out and did such a poor performance. But let me tell you, we can't continue to perform like that. I mean, the only highlights that I can talk about is our bowlers. Of course, in the first innings, Australia's first innings, where we were able to bowl out Australia for 180. Jaden Seals, he took 5 for 60, and Shamar Joseph took 4 for 46. And in Australia's second innings, where we were able to bowl them out for 310, again, Shamar Joseph, he was able to take a 5-wicket haul, meaning that over the 2 innings of the entire match, he was able to take 9 wickets, which is good. I was saying to a friend yesterday that Australia hate to see Shamar Joseph come in. Yeah, so I mean, it's the batting is, I don't want to talk about it because it was so bad, and I'm really hoping that we improve our batting in terms of test cricket. There's no way we cannot have our bowlers going all out for us and we just continue to go there and bat so poorly. It's really, really, really bad. All right, we're gonna go for our first break right here on Sports Talk. When we come back, we're gonna be talking about some football. Let's just get the disappointment out. Another disappointment out the way. We'll be right back.
Building your house and looking for everything in hardware from ground to roof? Save the hassle. It's Robinson and Sons Hardware, dedicated to giving you the best. Call Robinson and Sons Hardware 876-715-1724 or visit 18 West Palm Avenue, Port Antonio, Portland. If we don't have it, we'll get it for you. Robinson and Sons Hardware, Port Antonio, Portland, dedicated to giving you the best. 876-715-1724.
Tell them cut the plastic.
See, I one country we have
and we have to preserve it for future generation. The government had to fit them part with phase 4 of the ban on single-use plastic. That mean no more get me lunch in a plastic container and me so have to stop use certain cosmetic personal care items. Why? Big changes. But we want me pick them to enjoy this country. So me will go all in a phase 4. Support the bank.
A message from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
All right. We're going to do a roll call.
The Love Jockey is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype. Don't miss the tunes. Don't miss the excitement with your boy, DJ Rebirth. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. At 3 p.m., your DJ runs the gospel rhythms. Hot, hot. Tune in at 4 p.m. for a time where we share a word to grow your mind. GYM? Grow your mind? Jim. Get it? Grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving all their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We get a taste of poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Faves at 5. All this and more every Saturday at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with your love jock, your boy, DJ Rebirth. It's all here on the family station. Love 101.
Youth Connection. Shubopti and them figured he provide everything on guide people we chat. Shubopti and them figured him alone make we happy when we did chat. Hey, hey.
This Monday, get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jakal Dyer. Listen throughout the show for tips on how to become the best version of yourself in the feature Becoming You. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with the Morning Coffee Pick Me Up devotional at 6 a.m. Then cruise with Love on Your Radio at 7 a.m. inside Drive Time Jammings with great music to lift your day. At 8 a.m., it's Forward in Faith from the Portmore New Testament Church of God. 8:30 a.m., The Healthy Way, and at 9:30, we give you something more, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. So stick and stay with us this Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Spiritual start to your mind.
Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. All right. Joining me now to talk about the Reggae Boys' performance in the Gold Cup is Eddie from Eddie Vision TV. Eddie, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Kathya.
All right. Not so much on a great note, but we have to talk about these things. Unfortunately, I mean, let me not say unfortunately, but yeah. But yeah, I trust that you are okay, despite the overall no performance. Can I say no performance from the Reggae Boys? We knew coming into this match against Panama that it was gonna be an interesting game. It was win big or go home, and we're home now. But there were some interesting comments made by Coach Steve McLaren in his post-match press interviews. We're gonna get to that. But Eddie, if you could surmise for me the performance of the Reggae Boys against Panama on Monday night, what would you say?
Well, for me, it was a very lackluster performance from the team. They lacked energy, they lacked intensity, and for me, they didn't seem like they wanted to be there. A game of that magnitude, we expected the Reggae Boys to come out and show some fight. We knew it was a difficult task heading into the game. We had to, as you said, win big. We had to better what Guatemala did in their game. And I think from the offset, we were behind the 8 ball, going down 2 goals in 20 minutes. And I thought the game was over from there. Yes, the coach has to be blamed as well for the performance, but I think 50-50 for me, the coach and as well as the players. And we're in some deep trouble.
Yeah. Let's start out with the starting 11. Did you think Coach Steve McLaren went with the best starting 11 based on your um you know understanding of how our team setup should be?
Well, as you know, we have a lot of injuries, especially in midfield, and we lacked a little bit of experience. And for me, I don't think that Coach McLaren did enough to kind of freshen up the team. Started the same players for the most part. Um, Casey Palmer was one of the players that was added. Didn't have a good performance in that one. The midfield, Latibeaudiere also went back into midfield. I think he did a reasonable good job. But the defense, though, Kathya, I think the defense didn't really show up the entire tournament. We conceded, 6 goals in 3 games. And I've seen that over the past set of games, even the Unity Cup, we conceded 4 goals in 2 games. So the defense has also been a problem. So it's not just the midfield, but we're finding a lot of holes in the defense. I think the coach tried to do his best in terms of the starting 11, but rumors coming out that he maybe has lost the dressing room. So that's another matter. We don't know how true that is. But if that's the case, then maybe he did what the best he could at the time.
Yeah, that's something that I wanted us to talk about because I don't know. I don't. It's strange because when we've interacted in terms of when the players were here heading into the Gold Cup, everything seemed that it was okay. And then now when the team got to the Gold Cup, we're like questions now being asked, is everything okay? Um it's kind of strange that things would have changed drastically over the period of maybe a week. And I don't know, like it's it's
Mm-hmm.
it's 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 concerning for me because we would have seen Coach McLaren. Was it against the Guadeloupe game that he wasn't even sitting on the bench? Was he? He was sitting in the stands that
In the
game,
stands, right?
and I'm
Um,
like, it's very interesting because yeah. What are your thoughts on that, Eddie?
well, I'm not certain about. As you said, something must have gone wrong within a week. I remember Rudolph Speed was on the radio, I believe, sometime before the Guatemala home game, and he stated that there was a rift between a certain senior player and Coach McLaren. We didn't see that player missing out. We saw the exact team play, so we were wondering. So I don't know if it's something lingering from that went over into the Gold Cup. But time will tell, and I'm really anxious to know what went wrong because it's very drastic. We seem to have lost the dressing room within a week or two, and that's really strange in football. Was it something that was brewing months ago? We don't know. We just have to wait and see.
Definitely. All right, let's go to the comments made by Coach Steve McLaren because to me he has always been conservative, and I've said it on this show before. He is a very conservative coach. He doesn't necessarily throw his players under the bus. I mean, in his period of coaching, right? And especially when it came to the reggae boys, he was always defending players, but that changed Monday
Mhm.
night. What do you think about his comments saying that the reggae boys don't they aren't as good as they think they are?
Yeah. Well, I think that sounds like a coach that knows he's in trouble. And I think throwing the team under the bus like that was maybe his last resort to say, "Hey, I'm not the reason for this. Is the team, is the players." So obviously something went on, and he now realizes that his scrapper players are not what he thought in his mind. I remember in a press conference, I'd asked the coach where was his team at in terms of where he wanted to see the team, and he was stating that it may be 6 out of 10. I asked him to rate the team 1 to 10, and he said 6. I think no, maybe he would say 3 or 4. That shows how what a fall off he had between now and then. So He sounds like a coach that is under threat and knows that he's in trouble, and that's the last grasp, you know, stretching out for the straw.
Yeah, so I'd say I cannot see the JFF continuing with Steve McLaren. I definitely can't see that. But let me ask you, Eddie, where do we go from here? Because it's the JFF has found themselves in a very precarious position. We are now almost less than 2 months away, or well, I mean 3 months away from the next set of qualifying games for the final round of the World Cup, trying to head to the World Cup. And we have a coach who seemingly has lost the dressing room. We have players that seem not to be motivated to play for this coach or his coaching staff. Where do we go from here?
I mean, the JFF find themselves in a pickle. As you stated, 6 games to go, and the fans also lost a lot of hope in the coach, and not just the players. The fan base has really turned on Steve McLaren, and it's going to be difficult. I think we should. I agree with you. We might have to find another coach because this is a one in a lifetime opportunity. The best chance Jamaica football has had in history, are the easiest, even easier than the '98 campaign in terms of qualification, based on where we are and the quality of the team and the games that we'll be playing in opposition. So an opportunity like this, I don't think the JFF want to really, mess it up. We cannot afford to fail. And so some big decision has to be made. I know they're going to be having a emergency meeting with the coach. That's the technical committee will be meeting with the coach and the coaching staff. So they will try to iron out things. But I don't see McLaren really lasting because everything seems to be against him right now.
Yeah, definitely. And then just so boy, I don't know. I'm just, this whole reggae boy situation is just so, you can't even, I can't even find the words to describe how necessarily we feel as the fans and as the analysts on this side of the fence, because the way how things kind of went down so quickly, we seem to have going okay with the Unity Cup. We came back home, we seem to be okay. We heard about the few things, but yeah, it just, that things went from zero to 100 to 0 very quickly. But before you go, Eddie, I wanted to ask you, if not Steve McLaren, and I'm putting you in on the spot now, who do you think? I mean, the we I feel like we're gonna see the back of Steve McLaren, but who do you think the
Right.
JFF should turn to? Should we go to a local coach? I hear people saying, maybe Speed should put himself at the helm then, him take over things. But what do you think? What are our options, you think, in terms of coach choices now going into the final round of the World Cup?
Wow. I wasn't ready for that question. I haven't really looked at the possible options. I know Speed would be an excellent choice. But based on his dealings with the JFF, I don't think he'll step aside from his JFF role right now to coach a team. But I want somebody that knows CONCACAF football. I want somebody that's used to CONCACAF experience and a winner. I think Bob Bradley from former USA coach. I don't know if he's available. I think he could fit the bill right now for a short term um, interim coach for me. Just 6 games. It's going to be a tall task for whoever gets the job if McLaren is let go. It's going to be a difficult task, and we just have to hope and pray, because we don't know. We don't know what the future might bring. So maybe it could be a local coach that can carry us to the promised land. Maybe an international coach. So all the best. I'm glad I don't have to make that choice.
Yeah, definitely, Eddie. Thank you so much, Eddie, for your time as usual. And of course, always look forward to your insightful thoughts on what's going on as it relates to football. And of course, we'll keep in touch, because as soon as any
Yeah.
news break, we'll be
Thank
here
you
to
very much. Thanks for
we'll be,
having me.
yeah, man, we'll be here to discuss it again. That's Eddie from Eddie Vision TV, speaking about the lackluster performance of the Reggae Boys during their performance during the Gold Cup, and being unable to make it to the next round in the Gold Cup. We're gonna go for our second break. When we come back, we're gonna be changing strides as we take to the track. Look at some track and field. We'll be right back.
Get ready for the fourth edition of the Life Fest Pop-Up Market. Join us on Sunday, July 6, 2025 at Hope Gardens in Kingston from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a fun-filled, family-friendly experience. Come out and enjoy the Art Village, Farmers Market, and Food Pavilion. Shop for clothes, plants, skin and hair care products, wellness supplies, and more. This vibrant marketplace is all about supporting small businesses. Come connect, shop, and be inspired. It's a full day of fun, food, and family. Don't miss the Life Fest Pop-Up Market, Sunday, July 6, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at Hope Gardens.
This Monday, get ready for an inspiring time inside Love in the Morning with me, your host, Jokal Dyer. Listen throughout the show for tips on how to become the best version of yourself in the future becoming you. Grab your cup of coffee and start the day right with the Morning Coffee Pick-Me-Up devotional at 6 a.m. Then cruise with Love on Your Radio at 7 a.m. inside Drive Time Jammings with great music to lift your day. At 8 a.m., it's Forward in Faith from the Portmore New Testament Church of God. 8:30 a.m., The Healthy Way, and at 9:30, we give you something more, brought to you by the Faith Cathedral Deliverance Center. So stick and stay with us this Pick Me Up Monday inside Love in the Morning, 5 to 10 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Spiritual start to your mind.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. We are now onto the track as we look at the J3A's National Junior and Senior Trials. Of course, these trials would have begun on Thursday and they will conclude tomorrow. Quite a number of this year we have our under 18s, under 20s, and our seniors competing. Of course, we know the seniors are competing for their place to take part in the World Championships coming up later in about 2.5 months, right? 2.5 months happening at in Tokyo. Yeah, back in Tokyo. I heard a friend of mine say the other day, the championship doesn't seem very interesting when it is that we go back to our host city that hosted or the World Championships or Olympics in recent times. But that being said, let's start with the big one. Should I? Yeah, let's start right there. And let's start with the 100 meters because that's on everybody's that's on everybody's thoughts in terms of from last night. Now, coming into last night, having seen the semifinals, a lot of persons they concluded that Shelley and Fraser Price was gonna come forth and only be able to make it on the relay squad. A lot of persons. And on the men's side, a lot of persons are saying it's gonna be Brian Lavelle, Kishane Thompson, and Oblique Seville. That would have been the top three. But if there's anything I know in track and field, is to expect the unexpected. And last night delivered the unexpected in a good way, in an interesting way, in a way that I don't think anybody saw what was going to happen. And there's still questions to be answered. I don't have all the answers, but let's talk about let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right, so let's start with the women's 100 meters finals last night. Um, Coming into this finals from the semifinals, it was clear to me that the Clayton twins and Sharika looked to be the fittest of the batch. Shelly and Fraser Price, to me, she did not look as race sharp. So I wasn't sure what time I could expect from her. I know should have gone out there and give it 100% or 100% of what she could deliver right now. But I wasn't sure if that was going to be able to land her on the team. However, if you know me, I always say, especially when it relates to Shelly and Fraser Price, I never ever bet against a champion. I don't practice it because she has proven herself time and 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 time again. And she has the world and Olympic gold medal. She has medals to prove that you never bet against her. And last night felt like 2008. Honestly, last night felt like 2008 when this young lady from Waterhouse beat out Veronica Campbell at the time, or was she Veronica Campbell? At the time to get a place in the on the Olympic team to Beijing. And I remember the thoughts saying, oh no, it shouldn't be that she competes. We should put her in the relay pool and we should give Veronica a chance to um to be on the team, give her the spot and take away the spot from Shelly Ann. I remember those conversations and it was a big thing happening, and this same young lady went on not to win one, I mean, multiple Olympic medals, multiple world championship indoor. The accolades don't stop here as it relates to Mrs. Fraser Price. So yeah, so the race concludes and Tina Clayton becomes the national champion. And I want to spend a little time to talk about Tina before I go back to the other placings in the race. Tina would have been the star of the Clayton twins throughout her high school period at Edwin Allen. Now, both she and her sister, Twin Turbo, they're nicknamed as, came now on the professional scene, and it seemed to me as if Tina was going to become another high school star who couldn't transition to the pro. And I know, based on conversations, I know those were thoughts that she was battling with, She wasn't big. Her sister now was going to become the star. And while she was happy for her sister, she kind of now started to feel away, of course. And I'm sure her sister making the Olympic team, and she would have said it last night in the interview, her sister being able to make a national senior team before her really, really impacted her. And she winning last night showed me. I mean, from I saw her in the semifinals, even from the heats, it said to me that the Tina Clayton, the fighter I knew from Edwin Allen, the fighter we knew from World Under 20 Championships, when she was even counted out at those championships, that she was back in that mental space. And I knew from Tina Clayton was back in that mental space, it only means that she's gonna run fast. And it's not gonna matter that her sister pulled up beside her in said race. She is gonna be going for the tape and then coming back to check on her sister. And that's exactly what happened last night when she won in 10:81, being no faster than her sister and being the fastest Jamaican this year over 100 meters. Then we had Sharika Jackson coming second. Of course, Sharika to be rounding up into shape I don't think Sharika is at her peak as yet. I think she will go faster for this season. And I know she knew she had what it takes to get on this team. And of course, Shelly and Fraser Price, 1091 coming third, making it to another, another world championship team. Let's face the fact, between 2008 and now 2025, Mrs. Shelley and Fraser Price has made every single national team, every single one, whether going to the World Championships or whether going to the Olympics. And that is remarkable. And I mean the J3As, they did their thing yesterday, and of course after last night they also, the minister gave their speech, and they gave their the gifts and all these things to Shellyan. And I look at it and I say, I really hope that this, because we know now that this is her last senior championships, and of course this will be her last time. I think she said it last night. No, last time represented Jamaica at this level. So yeah, it's an icon. Can't take away anything from this pocket rocket, and I'm just happy that she again beat the odds despite whatever happened in the race. And we wish Tia Clayton a speedy recovery. But it's good to see that Mrs. Fraser Price was able to make another another national team. Yeah, I think a lot of persons had Tia to win. A lot of persons too had Sharika to win. A lot of two persons I really don't think anybody had Tina to win last night. So it's good to see, because now we have another Clayton twin being on the team. And with the Jamaica J3A rules not saying that the top 6 will make it, it means that there is, in 2.5 months, because we have enough time for what do you call it, time between our trials and the Tokyo World Championships. If I think Tia is able to run herself back into some form, which I don't think she should really pressure herself, but if she's able to, then there's a possibility that she will be able to get on the team, because we know they said it's the top 3 and then whomever else. It's which I think, which is a questionable rule, because I honestly believe it should be just the top 6 from the championships and we move on with that. Because that way, in my head, I'm thinking if we went top 6 from the championships and we are able to know, because I mean top 6, I think the top 6 from last night, 90% locally trained, could start working on our relays. There's so many things that we could start doing from now, but leave it to the J3s. It's their thing, so we just do that. Well, we're gonna go for our final break on the show, and when we come back, we're gonna be talking about the men's equivalent, because the women was interesting, but when it came on to the men, yeah, man, you wanna stick and stay to hear my thoughts on that. We'll be right back.
All right. We're going to do a roll call.
The Love Jockey is on duty every Saturday inside Youth Connection. Don't miss the hype. Don't miss the tunes. Don't miss the excitement with your boy, DJ Rebirth. Saturdays at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on the family station, Love 101. At 3 p.m., your DJ runs the gospel rhythm. Hot, hot. Tune in at 4 p.m. for a time where we share a word to grow your mind. GYM? Grow your mind? Jim. Get it? grow your mind. And at 4:30 p.m., we share with you how young people are giving all their time and fulfilling their purpose inside Ministry in Action. We get a taste of poetry and spoken word inside Poetry and Praise. And you get to send us a WhatsApp message and request your favorite gospel song inside Gospel Faves at 5. All this and more every Saturday at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. with your love jock, your boy, DJ Rebirth. It's all here on the family station, Love 101.
Youth connection. Shubopti and them figured he provide everything on guide people we chat. Shubopti and them figured him alone make we happier when we did chat. Hey, hey.
Recycling partners of Jamaica. Yeah, we got to make a change. And we have to do it now, can't wait for later. We put plastic in its place. And we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies and in the drains. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place. Well, I said no matter about your class or status or title, got to be responsible and recycle. Yes, we have talk about plastic buckle boat. You have to make sure say you're the right type to. So look for the triangle with the one heart oh. Well, I don't matter could a yellow or blue. You have to just make sure them empty, collect them plenty, recycling revenue. So listen up Jamaica, I'm saying it's time to make a change. Recycling partners of Jamaica. We put plastic in its place, and we all can agree that will be safer than in the gullies in the every veins. Recycling partners of Jamaica, we put plastic in its place.
Grace Assembly Shiloh Apostolic Church presents its annual Men and Women's Conference 2025, Anointed to Serve, hosted by Pastor Clarence Gardner and ministering servants Elder Hill, Pastor Belafonte, Elder Burchell, Minister Smith, Pastor Pinto. Thursday, June 26 to Sunday, June 29, 7 o'clock each evening and 10:30 a.m. on Sunday. It's at 11159 Farmers Boulevard, Queens, New York, 11412. Watch live on YouTube at Grace Assembly Shiloh, Anointed to Serve.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. And we're talking about the J3's National Junior and Senior Championships happening at the National Stadium. Of course, it was started on Thursday. And now, well, it goes up to tomorrow, right? We are highlighting the 100 meters that took place last night. Before the break, we were talking about the women's 100-meter finals. That's the senior women's 100-meter finals. But now we're going to be talking about the male 100-meter finals, because if you thought the women's 100-meter finals came with the drama of Tina Clayton pulling up, unfortunately, and Mrs. Shelley Ann Fraser Price making another senior team for Jamaica, then we had news coming in a few minutes. And that began, everything seemed fine. The men were warming up. Everything seemed fine. It was on your mark. Oblique Civil held up his hand. They got up. And everything happened so fast. Well, fast was almost in slow motion, because it was obvious that something now at the beginning of the race was wrong with Oblique Civil. If you were watching, you'd have seen him almost broken in pieces, crying, lying down on the track, grabbing what seemed to be his hamstring, just totally devastated. But while totally devastated, trying to seemingly hold it together, but just trying to see if you could do anything fast. The race was delayed for a few minutes. The officials came over to Oblique. The masseuse came out. He went behind the billboard, lie down in what would be the dirt, because there was no grass there, and seemingly got treatment from his masseuse to maybe rub out the spot. But what was interesting was for me what seems to be a group of men who know what they're about now and seem to be there for each other because um Kishane would have been when he was walking back the first time. You could see Kishane actively talking to him, finding out if he was okay. Buwaji came over, was asking him too, and everybody was trying to focus on their own race, but also very concerned about what was happening to Oblique. You see them, kind of sharing water between themselves to keep as hydrated as possible. And for a lot of us looking on, it seemed as if Oblique, uh, Oblique was not going to run. It really looked as if he was not going to run. And you look in the stands, you could see persons were very concerned. A lot of persons are saying, don't run. It's not worth it. Don't take the risk. Don't risk it. Don't run. You could just see, and there was just tense the tents that came over the crowd and everything. And after about, I'd say, maybe 5 to 7 minutes or so, the you could hear Nova start to say, gentlemen, we need to get on with it, let's go, on your mark. And he said on your mark for about a few times, because at the time he was saying on your mark, Kishane would have probably walked 5 meters down the track. I think Brandeville would have also walked off. Cajun Gold, so was not on the track like what he said on your mark the first time. And of course, finally now they get on your mark. Right, and the race goes off, and I'm still in shock up to this very moment as I speak about it and as I re-watch the race over and over in my head, because Kishane won 9.75 seconds with absolutely no wind in the stadium. Is just a fantastic time. Right? Fastest we've seen in Jamaica, the fastest anybody has run in a very long time over the 100 meters. I mean, 9.75 would have won him every championship since Usain Bolt retired from athletics, right? But for me, the surprise was Oblique Seville running 9.83. Remember, guys, remember I was saying how Oblique was distraught and he had to seek attention from the masseuse. This, I don't know. I've never seen an athlete break down so much before a race and was able to pull it together to run 9.83 and run 9.83 in what seemed to be him not at 100% still. I mean, after the race, he was walking around and all of that, but for him to come and, I mean, he was crying. He was just all over the place. For him to pull it back together, to come and make this national team, knowing that he has 2.5 months to recover from whatever he felt. Whether it was just a cramp or whatever it is, because there's no official word coming out of the Racers Track Club camp as yet as to what exactly happened to Oblique last night. But to come back and run 9.83 was very good. And then Akeem Blake running 9.88, showing me that Akeem Blake is coming back to his very best once again. It was good to see. You saw the focus and the determination on Akeem Blake's face, knowing that he knew what kind of shape he was in, and for him to just stay in his lane and focus on his race and be able to run 9.88 seconds was a good thing. And so that's how it went for the top three. I think the only disappointing thing that happened in that race was Brian Lavelle finishing the race in 10.43, really just coming through the race. And I know a lot of persons had questions whether or not does this mean that, he won't turn up for the 200 meters. He actually turned up for the 200 meters this morning. He looked fairly okay to me. I couldn't say because it was a heat. It was the heats of the 200 meters where the top three made it through to the semifinals, and he really just coasted. He wasn't trying to run fast. He was just like, I'm just gonna get to the next round. So he didn't even run under much pressure this morning. So he looked fairly okay to me. And I'm really hoping that maybe in the 100 meters, he might have felt something and decided to stop because he knew he had the 200 meters coming up. And I'm really hoping that is the good sense that prevailed for him. And I'm hoping that he makes it 200 meters. And so he'll probably be able to still be a part of the relay pool. So yeah, because at this point we still need our men's 4x1 to qualify for the World Championships because they haven't done that yet. But yeah, the 100 meters last night, yeah, it was very interesting, very very interesting. And then I mean, I know a lot of persons still saying, Kishe needs to stay for interviews. He did come back and do interviews last night. I just don't think when he runs this fast, that he expects to go this fast. I think that's one of the things with Kishe. But yeah, Caroline says, yes, the camaraderie, yes. She was it's like his life depended on it. I was impressed. Yes, that's how Oblique ran last night. Like his life depended on this. This was it, and this was it for him. He's like this or nothing. It was very 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 interesting to see. Yeah. So, boy, the national trials, it continues today. Um, the 400-meter hurdles finals, they're on tonight, as well as the 100-meter, 110-meter hurdle semifinals. Those finals will go on tomorrow. So there's still very interesting things happening at the National Stadium, the national trials, of course. I said it's 3 different age groups. So it's usually the under 20 and the seniors, but I know the under 18s, they have a championships this year. So it's under 18s, under 20s, and of course the senior men and women, they are competing for the Tokyo World Championships, which comes up in September. Still have a long way to go. I see somebody tweeted last night to say they were, trying to say, the J3s had the championships too early. But having seen all of this that has happened, dear man, we're happy that we decided to keep the championships this early so that the different persons are able to recover and get race sharp by the time it gets to Tokyo. Yeah, it's been an interesting show. The Reggae Girls, they come up against England this week. So we're going to talk about that next week, yeah? So this has been Sports Talk. We do this every Saturday between the hours of 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the family station, Love 101 FM. Yeah, have a good rest of your Saturday. Of course, as I said, the national trials is still on, and the Elite Netball League has also started at the Leela Robinson Court. It's gonna be 5 weeks, Fridays and Sundays, so go out and support if you want to see the best in the island. They take the courts on a Friday and a Sunday at the Leela Robinson Court. Have a great one, everybody. Bye.